A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a significant move that has sparked widespread outrage, the House of Representatives has approved a plan put forth by the Trump administration to rescind approximately $9 billion in previously allocated funds. This includes a staggering $1.1 billion cut from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, CPB, effectively eliminating all federal support for National Public Radio, NPR, Public Broadcasting Service, PBS, and their member stations. The vote, which passed narrowly at 216 to 213, saw nearly all Republicans supporting the cuts, with only 2 dissenting voices from the party. The bill is now on its way to President Trump for final approval. Following the vote, NPR CEO Catherine Maher expressed her deep concern, calling the cuts an irreversible loss to the public radio system. She emphasized that this decision would dismantle cherished local civic institutions and highlighted the critical role public broadcasting plays in providing cultural, informational, and educational programming. Maher noted that public funding, costing Americans about $1.60 per year, has been essential for ensuring access to vital emergency alerts and reporting during crises. Democratic representatives, including North Carolina's Alma Adams, defended the importance of public broadcasting, recounting how it provided crucial information during Hurricane Helene when traditional communication systems failed. Adams pointed out that for many North Carolinians, public radio was their only source of news during widespread outages. The House's decision follows a contentious vote-a-rama in the Senate, where numerous amendments to the rescission package were considered, most of which were blocked along party lines. Republicans consistently voted against any changes to the funding cuts proposed by President Trump. The only amendment that managed to pass aimed at protecting the PEPFAR program, which provides AIDS relief, highlighting the contentious nature of the rescission process. As a result of these cuts, the CPB will lose $1.1 billion meant to fund NPR, PBS, and their member stations over the next 2 years, in addition to approximately $7.9 billion in foreign aid cuts. While NPR relies on federal funds for only a small fraction of its budget, many of its approximately 1,000 member stations depend heavily on CPB for their operating revenue. The network has warned that these funding rollbacks could force many stations, particularly those serving rural or underserved communities, to shut down. In a recent development, South Dakota Republican Senator Mike Rounds announced a deal to use funds allocated during the Biden administration to continue supporting 28 stations that serve Native American listeners across 9 states. However, Native Public Media President Loris Taylor criticized this compromise as structurally impractical, raising concerns about the long-term sustainability of these stations. PBS President Paula Kerger also condemned the funding cuts, stating that they contradict the will of the American people, the majority of whom trust PBS and value its contributions to their communities. With programming such as the nightly PBS NewsHour and educational shows for children, PBS relies on CPB for around 15% of its revenue. Kerger warned that the cuts would significantly impact all stations, particularly smaller ones and those in rural areas, forcing them to make difficult decisions in the near future. A recent Harris poll revealed that 66% of Americans support federal funding for public radio, with similar support across party lines, 58% of Republicans and 77% of Democrats. This widespread backing indicates a disconnect between the actions of Congress and the preferences of the American public. In recent years, NPR has faced increasing criticism from conservatives, who accuse the network of exhibiting left-wing bias. The publication of a critical essay by former NPR business editor Uri Berliner last year only intensified this scrutiny, as he argued that the push for diversity within the network had narrowed its perspective. Following the essay's release, Berliner was suspended and subsequently resigned, further fueling the debate around NPR's editorial direction. Amidst the partisan tensions, some lawmakers, including Nevada Republican Representative Mark Amodei, have acknowledged the need to protect local stations from broader political grievances directed at NPR and PBS. Amodei pointed out that many of these stations are located in areas that support Trump, suggesting that cutting their funding may not be a well-considered strategy. Both Democrats and Republicans have expressed concerns about the rescission process, which has not been attempted in over 25 years. Lawmakers worry that this approach may complicate future appropriations bills necessary for funding the government ahead of the September 30th deadline. Senator Tom Tillis warned that betraying previous agreements could jeopardize bipartisan cooperation needed to pass critical funding measures. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer criticized the rescission package as an affront to the bipartisan appropriations process, arguing that it undermines the trust necessary for future negotiations. As the House prepares for the final vote on the rescission bill, Office of Management and Budget Director Russell Vought indicated that the administration is likely to propose additional cuts in the near future, reflecting ongoing enthusiasm for reducing federal spending. In the wake of these developments, Republican Representative Don Bacon expressed optimism about the Senate's version of the bill, which he deemed an improvement due to the removal of certain cuts. Bacon has been vocal about the need to ensure that local public TV stations receive funding in future appropriations, although he admitted uncertainty about how this would be achieved. As the situation unfolds, the implications of these funding cuts on public broadcasting and the communities it serves remain to be seen. With a significant portion of Americans expressing support for public radio, the upcoming weeks will be crucial in determining the future of NPR, PBS, and the vital services they provide. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.